Small business war stories. Small businesses are the soul of America. And this is where they tell their stories. I am your host, Pablo Fuentes. Hey, lovers of small businesses and good stories in general. Welcome to episode 136 of the podcast. And today I had the opportunity to sit down with DaVon Walker in Wichita, Kansas. And DaVon's a really impressive entrepreneur who wanted to create a brand, a street culture clothing brand. And he's been really successful with it. It's called It's On Clothing. And what really impressed me about it is he has a really a message of positivity, a message of optimism, and it's something that I think we need more of. So I wanted to feature him and his company on the podcast, and we talk about the ins and outs of what is it like to have a clothing company. How does he come up with his designs? How does he make his designs? How does he think about his business? And I really, really enjoyed the conversation with him, and I think you will too. The one ask I want to have for you today is, if you enjoy this episode or any of our episodes, please share this podcast with one person. Just be like, hey, check out Small Business War Stories. It's a podcast where this guy drives around the country and does in-person interviews with small businesses. And that is really what helps us grow our audience and spread our message of basically positivity and optimism and all the great things that encompass the spirit of small business in America. Without further ado, let's get into today's episode, number 136, with DaVon Walker of It's On Clothing in Wichita, Kansas. And we are live here in Wichita, Kansas. And today I have the pleasure and honor to sit down with DaVon Walker, who is the owner of It's On Clothing.
Yes.
Welcome to the show. Man,
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, it's very cool to have you here. And it's my first time in Wichita.
Yeah.
And it's a city with a lot of, we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on here and like the cultural richness and art scene here.
Yeah.
But let's talk about how did we end up here? How did you end up with this clothing line? You got the hat going, you got the T-shirt going here, and you got the message. Let's talk about it.
Crazy, man. It started out with me just being in love with music and being an athlete. And if you know anything about fashion, those two things combine, fashion, music. And so I've always been a person that did a lot of music, and I started designing shirts for bands. Okay. And then went from there, and then I was like, man, you know what? I think I can maybe step out and make some designs myself, something I'm really passionate about. And what I learned is about street brand and streetwear is it's so much involved. Usually there's a ton of stuff on your sleeves and your back and your shirt, 1,000 colors. And most athletes, we don't want all that. We want something simple, base. But we still want to have that vibe. And we still want to be a part of the culture. So I started designing some things myself.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So there's a whole bunch of things in your story that kind of led you here. So you played basketball, right?
Yeah. I played basketball here in Wichita. Derby, which is about south here. And then I went to Oklahoma, to Central Oklahoma, and played some basketball there. Okay. And college career wasn't what you expect it to be when you go in there. Of course, everybody leaving, going to the NBA, you know how you feel. Yep. Doesn't work out like that.
No, it didn't work for you.
But I did have the love of music.
You played college ball. It's pretty damn cool.
Yeah. It was an amazing experience.
Yeah.
Meet some really good guys. I would love music too. I was always a DJ. I'd be down there DJing college parties, stuff like that. Okay.
What kind of music are you into? Like a lot of hip hop?
I've kind of ventured off a little bit since I've been I do music licensing. Okay. So I ventured off a little bit. So I liked a lot of the indie stuff coming out right now. And I've actually liked kind of the chill house stuff that's going on. Okay. Kind of like Yosti. I don't know if you know who that is.
No.
It's just kind of like chill music, man. I listen to that and kind of get in my zone and design my gear and stuff like that. So
all right. What's something that? How do you spell that artist you just mentioned?
Yoste.
Yoste. I have to check it out.
Yeah, it's cool.
Awesome. So when you look at your message and what you're spreading through your clothing, a lot of it is about, it's kind of imbued with this attitude about it. That is like an attitude of positivity.
Yes.
And turning, basically taking life as it comes and making the best of it, right?
Right.
And saying like, bring it. So, and that's part of your name, right?
Absolutely.
So it's on clothing.
Yeah.
But it's beyond the name. It's also in a lot of things you do on social media and like that. Why are those values? Why are those things important to you?
Well, being from here, Wichita is really small. And your first time here, so I mean, you can see how small it is. It's not a lot going on, and just somebody that had a big dream. When I was like, man, I'm going to work in the music business. I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I want to do that.
Yeah.
And nobody believed me. You know what I mean? It was one of those things, and I just took it as a challenge. And me and my friends that was how we would get off the phone or whatever. It was just like, it's on.
Yeah.
And so that was our challenge. Anybody that wanted to challenge us, we'll prove you wrong. And so, yeah, all right, it's on. Let's do it.
All right.
So that's always been our thing. And I want kids to realize that you can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter where you grew up at or who's telling you can't. And so it's been really good with me going out, and I gotten to meet different like ethnicities and just kids alone that are just low income, not sure what they want to do.
Yeah.
I'm trying to show them that there's a path for everything. You know what I'm saying? And don't get caught up in you thinking like you're down and out.
Right. So I think that makes a huge difference, right? It's whether you believe that you can or you can't.
Right.
You're right.
Yeah.
Right. So having that attitude, where does it come from for you? Like where did you pick this up in your life? Is this something that you always had that attitude about things? Is this something that you learned? Like what?
It's crazy. Like as a kid, I mean, we didn't have much, and as I was growing up, I've always was like, man, when I do hit a spot, when I do hit a point in life where I can make the decisions and make things happen, I'm gonna make it happen. You know what I mean? And that's just where it grew from. It just grew from that, man. I mean, anything I've ever wanted, I've put my head down and I just go for it.
Yeah.
Some stuff's not going to work out. I think what people got to realize, especially in business, is your first business might not work. Your second business might not work.
Yeah.
But, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to give up on it. Just pivot. Figure out the angle that you need.
Yeah.
And just keep working through it. And so, yeah, I've always just had that drive, man.
Cool, man. I like it. How long has your clothing company been around?
We've been around since March of 2017.
Okay.
So about 2 years now.
A little bit over 2 years. So tell me, so it seems like, especially with you have, the advent of social media and how easy it is to put a message out there. It seems like a lot of people, the barrier is lower than ever to start a clothing company.
Right.
But my guess is that a lot more get started than make it to the 2-year mark where we are today.
Right.
So what does it take? What are the things that, for people who are out there, so maybe share a little bit of your story of how you got here and what are the things that you learned, and what does it take? What are the things, if somebody out there wants to start a clothing company, what are the things that they need to think about?
That's a great question, because like when I started this, I didn't know anything about fashion.
Yeah.
Nothing. I just knew that, I knew what I want to wear. What I want to wear is not out there, so I'm going to create it. And
that's a big deal, by the way. That's a huge insight.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would tell anybody, man, if you want to start a brand, you got to realize, man, it's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
And you most definitely need to embed yourself in whatever it is. If it's a streetwear, if you're doing skateboard, if you're doing whatever it is, just embed yourself in it. Streetwear it's a whole different culture. Okay. It's a culture of, you got to understand like what it means. Like, hip hop's part of it. Skateboard is part of it. It's just a vibe and everything you get, and you can be a part of this family. And if you just want to, I tell people all the time, man, like I started this by just my love of fashion and hip hop and being around my friends, and it just all one big family.
Yeah.
So you got to really believe what you want to do.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. You're going to have to take some bumps in the head. I've had some crazy stories.
Like what?
Not too long ago, man, I had a brand. I was using a manufacturership, to make some sweatshirts.
Okay.
And I did a pre-order on the sweatshirts, so people bought them already.
Yeah.
But the company just stopped answering me. Like, they were just gone. Like, I don't know what happened. And so not only, but their social media was still going.
Oh.
So at that point, I was like, oh, so they're basically just ignoring me. And so I went on social media and I put their clothing, their manufacturer thing on there, and I put fraud really big on it in red letters.
Holy shit. Okay.
And I posted it, and it was bananas, like the response I was getting from people. And it's crazy how people really want to be a part of something.
Yeah.
And if you're being done wrong, it's amazing how many people reach out and just want to help you build and stuff like that. But it's so funny. I did that, and the company got back with me the next day.
Yeah, I bet.
And we're like, hey, man, we're sending it to you where you need it to go, and blah, blah, blah. And so it's just,
but
man.
it kind of sucks that I had to come to that.
Yeah, well, yeah, right. And I literally went weeks before I was going to do that. I was like, man, I probably shouldn't, but I don't know how I'm going to get their attention.
Yeah.
And the only way you're going to get it, which is great for the social media world now, is, man, I can post something, and it's endless. People can see it.
Yeah.
And it just worked out, man. But if you're going to start something, just realize you're going to have bumps.
Yeah.
And I think the problem with is a lot of companies, man, they run into the first few bumps, and they give up. And just be resilient.
Yeah.
That's the best advice I can give. Just be resilient.
But the other thing too so specifically related to clothing companies, we're talking about like getting started, right? So you already had a graphic design background, right? How did you learn how to design things?
It's weird, and it's just one of those things that I just wanted to do.
Okay.
I never had any technical anything. I just checked up Photoshop and Illustrator, and I took look at some classes online, and I just learned how to use the software and started designing my own.
Yeah.
And then I have a few designers that I use as well. They help me out quite a bit, especially since it's probably about 4 of us to do everything.
Okay.
So if I'm busy, I just can't take time to do designs and work on mock-ups and blah, blah, blah. I just need help, you know what I mean? And so I use a few guys, man, and they've been awesome, and we just work together and make things happen.
Okay. So tell me a little bit more about the specific steps. So you have the design side, right? And then how do you get your stuff made? Do you have a plant? Do you have somebody else make it for you? I mean, you were mentioning just right now, that there are people who make some of your stuff. Is it just one manufacturer? Many? How does that all work?
I use different ones.
Okay.
Depending on what it is. Sometimes if it's just a t-shirt or something like that, I'll just use some, like a blank maybe, and just design on there, and then I'll use like a print shop, like a screen printing shop.
Okay, and then once you have so let's say you have your design, you work with different designers, you do some of them yourself, and then you have your different sources. What's next? So you have them shipped to a warehouse. Do they drop ship it to different customers? How does that work? I
tried the drop shipping thing before, and it just didn't work out great for me. Not saying it's a bad thing if that's how you need to start. That's how I started, and it was great. But what we do now is I actually get it printed, and everything gets sent to me.
Okay.
And I have a nice storage area where I store everything. But I like to QC everything, man. I want to look at it. I want to touch it. I want to make sure that there's nothing wrong with it once I send it to the customer.
Yeah.
And I like to do my own wrapping, and I have my girl, and she helps me out with that stuff, and so just going to make sure we touch everything.
Yeah.
Everything. It's so important that people see the detail and everything. That's what sets you apart. You know what I mean? And
tell me more about that. So what are you talking about in terms of like what details are you working on, and why is that important to you and what you do?
I mean, when they get something from me, they know it came from me. You know what I'm saying? We do thank you cards. We do, everything is personally wrapped. It's folded correctly. It's going to have our logo and our name and everything on it.
Yeah.
And you just know it came from us, not some drop shipping or what's going on, and I think that makes people feel part of something. You're a part of you're a part of our movement, and you're part of what we have going on. And so right now we're getting ready to go to Complex Con in Chicago.
What is that?
Complex Con is basically just a conference for the culture. If you're into Supreme and Billionaire Boys and all that stuff of streetwear, they do some exclusive things up there. Nike drops us like exclusive shoes and things like that, just stuff for the culture of streetwear. And this is the first time they're having it in Chicago, which is awesome.
Okay.
And so we're going up there at the end of July.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. And what do you hope to get out of that show? Like, is it something about you making relationships, or you getting with distributors or manufacturers, or is it more about making connections with people who, how do you approach this?
With us, man, it's all about just networking.
Okay.
You just want to be able to to contact somebody, man. And the thing about anything, I think, is if you can network and you can find people that's in that field and in that culture, you're going to run into some roadblocks, and you need somebody to talk to about it, or you need somebody that can maybe help you get out of it, or whatever it is. And I think networking is just so huge. I think it's undervalued. I don't think enough people think how big of a importance it is to go out and network with people and just indulge yourself in the culture. Like, just go out, man. I mean, it's going to be a good time. There'll be a lot of different designers and a lot of influencers for the culture. And like I said, they have exclusive drops that's happening with Nike and Supreme, and all the big names are dropping like just exclusive things for that event. So it'll be cool.
Let's talk a little bit more about that. So not everybody, a lot of people who are entrepreneurs are also extroverts for whom these networking things come more naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Are you an extrovert or introvert?
I'm an extrovert.
You're an extrovert.
Yeah.
Okay. So for people for whom this does not come as naturally, what are some of the things that help you with this? Because, for example, not every conversation you have at these events is going to be fruitful, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, as a matter of fact, the majority won't.
Right.
And it is very much, in my experience, a numbers game, right?
Yeah.
So you have to be prepared for a lot of rejection.
Absolutely.
So how do you handle that? How do you think about that? And for people who maybe this is not a natural for, like, how do you, what can you share in terms of what works for you?
Well, I think as long as you understand that everything is not going to go your way. I think you kind of get that growing up, though. I mean, even no matter what's happening, I mean, you're going to go through things where it doesn't go your way. You're not going to get the grades you wanted, or you're not going to get the girl you wanted, or, you know what I mean? I think guys-wise, it sounds crazy, but you talk to a lot of girls in life. Like, it might start middle school. I mean,
sure.
you talk to so many, and you get turned down a lot. You just do. It just is what it is. And you get turned down from that, and you move on, and you meet someone else. And I think if you look at it that way.
Girls too, by the way.
Yeah.
Girls also talk to a lot of guys and also get turned
down. But I say, like, if you look at it that way,
yeah.
If you look at networking like that, like it's like, how many girls did it talk to you before you found the right one?
Right.
How many girls did you talk to before you found your girlfriend or your wife or your whoever it is? And if you break it down that way, it's kind of like networking.
Yeah.
You're going to talk to a lot of people that it's not going to mean anything, or you're not going to get anything out of it, but you could meet that one person.
And don't take it personally when...
Yeah, absolutely not, because you never know when that person might need you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on your way up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And just keep in mind that that's what it is. You're working toward your goal.
Okay.
And
so you are designing, you're manufacturing, you are making connections. How do you promote this? I mean, so you have you have a strong social media presence. You're doing all this. What are the things that you do every day to do? I mean, do you do Instagram and Facebook advertising? Do you work with influencers? What are the things that you do every day to get your name out there?
So Instagram is big for us.
Mm-hmm.
I do put it out. I put it out there a lot on there. We've used some influencers, and they've been awesome. And, really, I think what people have to understand is you just need to put the product in front of people. That's the one thing we're doing here, Wichita. I just go to different places, man. We wear the gear.
Yeah.
few weekends ago, I mean, just to bring a presence, just to put the question mark in people's head, man. I probably got 10, 15 people. We all wear it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go on a spot, stay there for 15 minutes, and leave.
Really?
So it's not necessarily that I need them to buy it, but I guarantee you they're wondering what it is.
Right.
And it's just that type of thing where and then people are going to look it up, and I can build traffic that way. So just different little gimmicks, man.
Like what else? Give us some more tips. So that's a really cool one. So it's getting 15 people to wear the same thing.
Yeah, I get them all to wear the gear, and we'll go out and, just walk in somewhere. We'll hang out. We'll leave. And everybody's like, what was that about?
Yeah.
And all you need is, like, just the question.
Yeah.
People will be like, man, who is that? And what's going on? And they'll look it up. And I've done a few things. What did I do recently? I always try, like, different marketing things.
Yeah.
Some work and some bomb. But
tell me one-on-one. What's one that really worked and one that really bombed?
I think the one we just did with the people that worked pretty good because I ended up getting a company here called Socialite. They just kind of help out with events, and they contacted me because somebody seen it, and they actually did a release with me for my summer colors. So that was really cool. They just were like, man, I think it's cool.
Yeah.
So that worked out great. Some that didn't work. Oh God.
Hold on. What did you do with Socialite?
It was really crazy because I wasn't really sure what was going on. They had me come out to one of their events. Okay. And as I went to the event, they had already had like all my gear and stuff like posted up around it. Oh. And it was at like at a club. Okay. So it was really cool because people were walking through and seeing the clothing and talking about it, and we gave away some shirts and people were taking pictures in it, and it was just really cool because, like I said, I didn't really know much about them, so for them to reach out, man, and really show support like that was really cool. Yeah.
What's one that bombed?
A few that bombed. I mean, just
what sounded like a really good idea until you did it and it just did not work.
So when you first start things, you think, when you see other brands doing, you don't realize that it's been a while. They've been in business probably before they got there. So, I think I wrapped a van one time, like with my logo and everything, and thought I was just going to be able to go around and go to concerts and stuff and sell my brand. It's not how that works. Okay. I mean, well, what you got to realize, and I think I should have realized, is there's merch at concerts. Yeah. People want to go see that person. They want to get that merch. They're not really trying to get my shirts. Yeah. And so, that was a waste of money.
The waste of money was wrapping the van and going to a show.
Yeah, it didn't make a lot of sense. Okay. And when I sat and thought about it, I was like, that didn't make any sense. Okay. But again, being naive, I thought it did. At the time, I thought it would be awesome. Like, it's going to be a crowd of people. Yeah. It's going to be a lot of people. I thought, if I put it in front of a lot of people, something will happen.
Makes sense.
No.
Let's talk about Wichita a little bit. So Wichita, I'd heard a lot about Wichita before coming here. Mm-hmm. It's an exciting place because there's a lot of young people. There's the college, Wichita State here. Mm-hmm. And then there's also a lot of art. And a lot of people, even just haven't been here for 24 hours, you can tell. There's, a lot of like buy local movement, I guess businesses. And then there are also a lot of art-related businesses. So tell me, how do you work? First of all, tell me a little bit more about the Wichita community here, and also how do you fit in and how do you work with other people in the community?
What's crazy is I haven't really worked with a lot of people here. Like I said, I was born, like, I'm from here. Yeah. I'm from Wichita, and I just moved back probably about 3 months ago. Okay. And the reason I moved back is because there's nothing like growing a business with your family. Yeah. And I'm not necessarily talking about my actual blood family. I'm saying like some of my guys I grew up with, and I know they believe in the same thing. And like I said, it came from us. The whole its own slogan came from us. And I wanted to come back and bring that to them. And let's really push it like it needs to be pushed. Yeah. And which is awesome is I have met some really dope creators here, man, and as far as art goes, and even like video and podcast, and our last photographer did something crazy dope with our pictures where you feel like you're inside the picture more or less. So you're not getting people's face all the time or whatever. You're kind of like just getting the brand straight to your face, and it was really interesting, really cool. So I'm most definitely meeting a lot of creators here, and it's been interesting.
Yeah. And it's is it growing a lot, or is it? I mean, what is it? Are people moving here? Is it mostly an organic movement? Like, what is it like?
I think it's more of an organic movement.
Okay.
I think it's getting bigger, and I think they're starting to get a little quirkiness to it. You know, I've lived in some smaller towns, and the thing about like you're from Austin, right?
Man, I live in Austin now. I'm from all over the land.
Okay,
I've lived in like literally a dozen cities.
Even being in Austin, like you get your quirkiness from the city.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we're starting to get that vibe here.
Okay.
Where a lot of you're starting to believe in the home brand, homegrown, and it's really awesome to be here at this time.
Yeah.
Because I think before everything was just so chain, like, you know what I mean? Even if you're driving around, you see most of the restaurants here for a long time were just chain restaurants. Yeah. Nobody was just starting their own thing. They were just buying in chain restaurants.
Just doing a franchise.
Right. And then what we're having now, which is really cool, is you know, people are starting to believe in themselves, and they're starting to try their own thing. And so you have the new steakhouses that are people from here, and it's homegrown, and they're using homegrown farms and stuff like that. And when you start getting into that, it's awesome. Like, you start realizing that, man, I'm in a good time where the movement is going in the right direction.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited, man.
So what else is it? I mean, it's restaurants, it's breweries, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of breweries here that are really emphasizing local.
Yeah.
Art galleries.
Yeah. And the art galleries, and the thing about art, which has been really cool, man, is if you just drive around and you get to see like the awesome things that people are coming up with. And then they just opened up an art school here not too long ago. It's just really cool for, you know, I would have loved to have that as a kid. You know what I mean? Like, just knowing that I have this creative mind, but, you know, you're just at home just working on it. But now they actually have a place for kids to go and really learn the techniques and stuff like that. I think that's awesome.
So you're talking about kids, and earlier on you talked about wanting to have, with your message and the positivity of it, a positive influence on kids. What else do you do? I mean, do you work with kids? Do you you talk to them? I mean, I think it's really important, to inspire people of all walks of life, especially people who grow up in environments where they don't see a lot of possibility, to show them that there is possibility, right? So what are the kind of things that you're doing with that?
Yeah, so it was probably a year and a half, maybe a year ago. I try to find a school to like donate shirts to, and it's usually a low-income school, and I get with the kids, I give them out shirts, but most of the schools are awesome. They let us talk to the kids, and so we talk with them, and then afterwards, a lot of kids want to have the one-on-one thing, and I'm an open book, man. I mean, I'll give them my email and tell them, give me a shout out, and we can communicate on whatever they're going through.
Yeah.
I think what a lot of people don't understand is they just don't have anybody to talk to.
Yeah.
When your parents are doing whatever they're doing, or school's not going to be the place you want to talk to anybody, you know what I mean? You want to meet somebody from how you feel in your culture and what's going on, and so it's really easy for me to just get in a conversation and just talking to them.
Yeah.
A lot of kids hit me up on Facebook. Messenger is easy for kids. I mean, every kid's on Facebook.
Yeah.
Or Instagram Messenger or whatever it is, or Snapchat.
I think it's important to have people who give a damn, right? About sharing all this knowledge and all that, because it doesn't happen automatically.
Right. So and that's the big thing with me, man. I really like just for people to understand, like, man, I'm a normal person. I'm out here just doing the same thing. I'm hustling, I'm grinding just like anybody else.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I've actually been able to do some things that I love to do.
Yeah.
And I don't think people understand that that's an actual thing.
Yeah.
You can do something you want to do and make money and love it.
Yeah. But you will hit bumps in the road.
Oh yeah, you're gonna take your lumps.
Yeah.
But it's so funny is because, man, even that I still find enjoyable. Like the challenge that like I said, I love the challenge.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's on.
Yeah.
On
I love
shirt.
the challenge. And it's always it's perfect. Like I'm gonna hit the bumps. I'm gonna hit the roads.
Yeah.
But it gives me a way to like think and see how I can fix it, or you know what I mean. Or do I need to just let it go altogether and come up with something new or whatever it is? But I do enjoy the challenges of it.
What's next? How do you want to continue to grow this? So you're talking about going to this conference. What are the other things that you have and where do you want to see your business in the next couple of years?
And I think what I'm going to try to do here recently, we've had some meetings about doing some kind of touring a little bit, kind of like a Do It Your podcast, but it'll be more of like college spots.
Yeah.
Shoe consignments are huge right now.
Okay.
So I think what we'll do is just start seeing if we do pop-up shops at shoe consignments in different places.
Yeah.
And just hit it on Fridays and Saturdays and just go out here and hustle.
So do you want to expand your line more? So you currently do T-shirts, hats, hoodies.
We do T-shirts, hats, hoodies, sweats.
Yeah.
But we do want to expand a little bit.
Have you thought about doing shoes?
I haven't thought about the shoes, but I have thought about getting into more like flannels and different things like that. Just give me a little more mind of creativity on that. You know what I'm saying? Like I can use some different stitching and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it's most definitely going to expand. I don't think there's any limit to it. I think also, you never know who you're going to run into. Like I said, you never know the next designer that I can meet.
Yeah.
On
who's
Instagram.
listening to this podcast, maybe?
Yeah, or on this podcast, or on Instagram, or that kid I might be mentoring, and he has this crazy talent in something, and you just never know. And then you can help that person out, and you run from there. So.
Cool, man. Cool. What I mean, you shared a lot of lessons already, but if you had one, there are people out there who are thinking about starting a business, or maybe already running their business. What is the number one lesson or piece of advice that you can share with people? I mean, we already talked about getting over bumps in the road, but is there anything else that comes to mind for you?
Just resilience, man. If you give up, you're always gonna wonder.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're always gonna wonder. Or actually, I wouldn't even say resilience. I'll say start it.
Yeah. Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Like I've talked to so many people, man. Like, I thought about starting a brand. I've been thinking about it for 2 years. I'm like, what are you waiting on?
Yeah. What about capital? Is that something that, or I mean, in today's day and age with like having like lower production runs, you can do it. Do you need a lot of capital to start something like this?
Like I said, I think at the beginning, I did drop shipping.
Okay.
So there's so many drop shipping companies now where you literally order it. They'll literally send it to the customer. They'll print it right there and send it to the customer.
Yeah.
For me, I learned like as I gotten a little more into it that I wanted to be more personal.
Yeah.
But there's nothing against drop shipping. So I don't think you need to have a lot of capital. You just need just be creative and just go from there. And you'll find your way you want to do things. And that's the catch. You got to figure out what works for you.
Yeah.
And drop shipping works for a lot of companies. I mean, these are huge companies that are able to keep doing this. So,
it's awesome.
Yeah, for me, I didn't need a whole lot. And I think pressing up stuff, especially if you want a screen printer or whatever, you can get low runs of everything now.
Yeah.
Before you thought you had to get stuff from overseas, you had to get 1,000 pieces. Now you can, if you want to screen print something or whatever, 24 of them if you want, you know what I mean?
And how do you know that you have, so the It's On message and the brand and the way that you designs, they have a cogent story to them. Like it doesn't, how did you think about crafting that story ahead of time, and how should people who are putting a brand together, how should they think about this to have it like deliver that message?
It's got to be something that means something to you.
Okay.
I think that's a lot of reason why some brands fail. They just think that it's just a brand. You can just put some designs on clothes and you sell them, and that's just how it works. But I think it has to be a message that means something to you.
Yeah.
Because at that point, it's bigger than the clothes.
Yeah.
It's bigger than anything.
That's a great line. It's bigger than the clothes.
It's bigger than the clothes. You wanna share your message with people.
Yeah.
And the clothes is just a way for you to be able to, for them to be able to touch it.
Yeah.
Be able to touch the message.
Where can people find you? If people are interested in finding out more about your designs and getting your clothes and getting in touch with you, where can they find you? What are your websites, Instagrams?
So our website is itsonclothing.com. Itsonclothing.com.
Yeah.
And then Instagram is It's On Clothing. And between three of us, man, we're always on Instagram or Facebook or something like that. And you most definitely can just reach out, man.
Cool. So who are the three? You and
it's me.
Yeah.
I got a friend, Barbie Jomrin.
Okay.
He's he does a lot of the business stuff on it, so it's great. Yeah. Okay. And I think that's another thing I would like to just throw in there. If you're not good at something, find somebody that's good at it.
Yeah.
Don't feel like you need to do everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but me and Bobby J, and then Brandy Carlisle, which is my girl, so she helps out with every piece of the puzzle.
Awesome.
Right, so yeah.
Well, DaVon Walker, thank you so much for sharing your story with Small Business War Stories.
Appreciate you having me, man. It's been
I
awesome.
wish you much continued success.
Thank you.
Right,
Thank
take
you.
care.
Appreciate it.
Small Business War Stories. Small businesses are the soul of America. And this is where they tell their stories. I am your host, Pablo Fuentes.